I'll just read the notice. Pursuant to Senate Bill 2475, signed into law by Governor Baker on June 16th, 2021, suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Ledger 30A18. This meeting of the Affordable Housing Trust will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. All meetings and hearings listed in the agenda will also be done through the remote participation. Specific information of the general guidelines for the remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right or requirement to attend the meeting can be found on the town's website at www.shrewsbury.gov/coronavirus. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the town's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of the proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. To listen to the meeting, dial 1-267-819-1397 and enter PIN number 876-952-282#. Please mute your device. Welcome, everyone. I know that we are catching up on some minutes that were distributed. We have the April, July, and September meeting minutes that were distributed. Just wondering if everyone had an opportunity to review and if there were any questions, issues, or concerns.
Where were they distributed? Because I didn't see them.
They're on the shared Google folder.
Okay, I wasn't aware. Okay. I don't know if I can get it from my phone.
I'd be happy to bring them up if that's as a shared screen. I can do that as well.
Thank you. Oh shoot, I just got rid of our agenda. Why did we do that?
Yep. So the April one is up on the screen. I printed hard copies, so I'm okay.
Do we want to move on from this one, or?
It's okay to scroll to the next one.
Sorry, I was muted. Yes, it is okay to scroll. Thank you. I'm good with this one. Are we voting all at once, or are we gonna take them one at a time?
We can vote all at once.
Okay, so I'm all set with these minutes. Thank you.
So this is July 13. I can run through them kind of generally, just with the headers. So as to discuss the issue, discuss and issue a letter to the planning board regarding the housing trust position as it relates to the Shrewsbury's inclusionary zoning bylaw.
Okay. I'm all set with reading this one. Thank you.
Okay, and the last one. September 27th, 2022.
I'm okay if you want to scroll. I don't know if anybody else is reading online. Okay, thank you.
Any questions? No? Can I get a motion to approve the April, July, and September minutes as presented?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Mr.
Aye.
Pop,
Um,
Beth?
so, are you doing a roll call? Aye.
Yes. Martha?
Aye.
Hector? Aye. So moved.
Aye.
Next on the agenda, any board comments? No? Okay. So we'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is the RFQ response. We received one from JM Goldson. And Christopher, if you could just fill us in.
Yep, so we received one response from Martha Goldson. Let me just pull up the RFP response. So they went over their kind of proposal with the general letter. The qualifications, Jan Goldson lists them, her qualifications, as well as the senior community planner, Laura Smead, who would be part of their team. I can speak to Jen Goldson and her qualifications. She also was coordinating with the Grafton Affordable Housing Trust prior to me leaving that position. So she is very well qualified in this work, in providing documents and staff support to the trust. So I think in developing the action plan, she'd be very well qualified. The scope of services are outlined, looking for a January, February start date, completing the kickoff meeting, and summary of key housing needs, facilitating community forums in person, as well as roundtable discussions with municipal bodies, preparing the outline of the plan and a preliminary draft plan for the trust, looking at April, May for that, and then a June, July to complete the finalization of the action plan for the trust. And then again, the project management, coordination, and communications would be ongoing throughout this process.
So I didn't see anywhere here as far as the cost of for their services. Did I miss it?
I believe it was in there, but let me just scroll to make sure.
Maybe I didn't go deep into it. I know I thought it would be in the body of the. Oh, it was attachment C. I didn't print that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So the cost is this is just the RFP response. The cost and price proposal is a separate sealed bid. So we do have that. We have not opened it. Once they select the consultant, that can be opened to be reviewed.
Hector?
Yes.
So did they meet all the other qualifications for the RFP? Do we know?
I don't. Christopher?
Yes, I believe that they do. I believe we have a scoring criteria.
Yeah.
It's not in the shared folder. Let me see if I have it.
They certainly seem to have the experience.
Yeah. No, yes. Looking at that attachment A1, they've done quite a few plans there. Affordable Housing Trust action plans.
I particularly liked when we were reviewing early on all the different towns, how this company actually set up their action plan. It was very clear, easy to follow.
So let me. So this is the scoring criteria worksheet that we had. So looking at that, the approach, I think that the proposal does at least reflect a thorough and clear articulation of the consultant's technical approach for the project, looking at the tasks and task list that was provided. In terms of availability, the consultant, I think, has a team, whereas some consultant services is just a singular. So I would say that that would be advantageous to highly advantageous. I imagine that they will have the availability. They're also working on a number of similar documents throughout communities in Massachusetts and have in the past, which I think speaks a little bit to the expertise down on section 4, project management. Clearly and comprehensively addresses details for the proposed scope of work, project approach, and methodology. Key elements of the project are clearly identified along with the breakdown of responsibilities among the various, imagine that's parties involved. Yeah. Partnership is demonstrates an ability for strong partnership with the Affordable Housing Trust in the town. Also draws on that expertise where they've been working in a number of communities. So I think that speaks to that point as well. But I'm happy to bring back the proposal if we want to kind of go one for one through it in more detail.
No, I thought I looked at this before. I thought they met it. I think they've got the experience. I don't see any point in trying to go out again because this looks like it's a small industry. They all seem very busy. She's got the experience. I think they meet the qualifications. I mean, assuming the price doesn't blow us out of the water, I think we should go ahead with it and start the process.
No,
I mean, I was comfortable with the amount of work that they've done already. They've done some pretty big towns and cities, so I think they know what they're doing.
I agree with you. I mean, you know, it's just a small industry. Very few folks are actually in this that can do this here. And based on the information here that we have on attachment 1, you know, clearly states that they have done this a lot, and I think have done it well. Any other comments?
Chris, have you worked with her before, or this company in Grafton?
They were contracting with Jen Goldson, so I had some communication with her, but it was on my transition.
Okay.
Okay, so the next step here is just for us to decide if we should move forward with J.M. Goldson. Does anyone have any concerns or issues?
Chris, how does it work with the financial part, with the price proposal? I mean, we're satisfied. We're satisfied. Just assuming we're all satisfied with the qualifications, because I think she has the qualifications. Her team has the qualifications. So then what? We open the
Correct.
price proposal.
Yeah.
And that has to meet the criteria that we had specified in the RFP also, right?
Yes.
And then what? The manager will negotiate the contract?
Yeah, I believe so. And, they'll negotiate in terms of that and meeting the criteria. And then I believe it comes back to the trust for one final sign off, unless authorized to enter into the contract. But
So is the motion to,
Recommend.
Yeah, I think the motion is to select the JM Goldson proposal and to authorize staff to open the sealed bid and enter into negotiations.
so moved?
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Oh, need a roll call, right?
No. Yep.
Yep.
Maurice,
Aye.
Martha,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Hector, yeah, aye. So moved.
Thank
Next
you.
on, thank you. And next on the agenda, we have an agreement with Central Mass Regional Planning Commission. And this is for the Regional Housing Coordinator position. Christopher, can you provide us with some additional background?
Yeah, so I'll give some additional background and an update. I did sit in on a meeting with CMRPC and other communities that are currently interested in utilizing this service. The agreement that's before you today is a draft agreement that outlines kind of the process that CMRPC is looking for once they have someone selected to fill this role. The overarching goal is utilizing the grant that CMRPC received to fund a position where they will have a full-time staff member who will split their time specifically between communities that then contribute a portion, to that to fill the gap from the grant. For services related to, housing, any regional housing efforts or local housing efforts. So for an example, they have some of the duties to employ and oversee regional housing coordination staff. That will all be done through CMRPC. Member towns would then have the obligations of appointing a member and an alternate to an advisory committee that will oversee direction of the regional housing coordinator. And so that committee would provide the kind of direction on any regional activities and additional services could be rendered for negotiated fees outside of that. Looking at one of the things, this is kind of still a draft. They're still working out some of the criteria, but they did kind of hash out the average hours per week that a community would select from for their participation and the associated cost or assessment for that. In speaking with some staff and looking at our capabilities, I think my recommendation would be to start with approximately 4 hours. I think it'd be easier to scale up in the future if we decide that additional kind of service, additional hours are needed. I think it would be a little bit harder to kind of scale back and, fill, I wouldn't want to be stretching to fill a time that we don't necessarily need. So I think starting at that 4-hour level as a commitment and then expanding up as we get a better feel for what exactly is needed. We could also project in years that we have additional work coming in to choose for a higher average hours per week or lower, depending upon what we're anticipating in the future. It's kind of boilerplate financial stuff and kind of contract stuff beyond that. So that's the regional housing coordinator contract. They do have a position, a draft kind of job description. It's also outlined. It goes into some of the typical duties that would be done, which are pretty expansive. Again, I think it still depends upon the qualifications of who they're able to get in this position for them, of what kind of tasks that they'll be more qualified for. But again, I think it's a great opportunity to have the benefit of a coordinator who's in tune with what other communities are doing as well to create efficiencies through regionalization of some of those efforts.
And would this person be able to assist us in the project that we're working on here in developing the plan?
Yeah, so they would work as, similar to a staff support, and kind of expand the capabilities as staff support by doing kind of, coordination with the consultant. If we have additional kind of RFPs that we wanted to send out, they could do the drafting for that, and managing of the RFP, any kind of the documentation for that, in coordination with staff, just expanding the capabilities and the hours that we have at our disposal dedicated to these tasks.
And then, the 4 hours, so annualize that is 16,640. And if we need additional hours, would they be do you think it would be an issue in, bumping that from 4 to 7.5?
I think that CMRPC is fairly flexible. That I think that would have to be something that would have to be kind of discussed with CMRPC, and I can bring that kind of commentary to them. We do have another meeting with them in January, and that might be something that we want to add into the contract, is to allow some kind of flexibility where communities can negotiate for more hours if they find that they're needing that. I think, CMRPC would be flexible. We have a number of kind of technical assistance hours that they provide to us each year. And we could use some kind of combination in order to fulfill those duties if needed. And then in the subsequent year, obviously, if we're finding that we need a lot more hours, we can then choose a new level at the next funding round.
So, and this here, the assessment, so this is all in, benefits, taxes and everything.
Correct.
All right, so there's no additional charge or hit to us.
Correct. Yeah, the benefits and all that kind of staff compensation portion would be handled on the CMRPC side.
I have a question. Did I miss a meeting where this was discussed?
It was,
Was it December 7th?
No.
We didn't then, because we didn't have quorum.
Well, I don't understand when this came up.
So this, sorry, maybe I should have gone back a little bit further. So this is kind of born out of, and it did kind of develop pretty quickly. This was born out of CMRPC kind of had a late in the hour opportunity to throw in for a grant for a regional housing coordinator. They emailed out to communities looking for letters of support. A number of communities signed on to that and provided some letters of support for the creation of this regional housing coordinator position. And so that's the meeting that I was on today, was a number of those communities that had signed on, discussing the kind of some of the details of where CMRPC is going with the position. So,
Well, Chris, when did that come up?
I can add, on the September 27th meeting,
It
we
was that
just-
far back?
yeah, we discussed if there was a possibility to hire, if we could use some of the trust funds to hire a part-time person to assist us.
But was it this position?
It was, I don't think it was this exact position, but I think it was just raised. I think that's what, initiated, uh, this conversation.
But before we jump into this thing, I have a few questions. This also creates an advisory committee, right? And it requires us to appoint a member and an alternate?
So in the discussion, I believe that could be something that would be fulfilled from staff, that you could appoint a staff member. What they're looking to have is, from the CMRPC side, is to have a number of communities that are meeting on a monthly basis to provide CMRPC and this CMRPC staff member the direction for regional efforts, and to balance out kind of what they're working on month to month, rather than having the communities compete against each other for the hours.
All right, well, I have another question. So
Yep.
This position pays up to $75,000 a year. Is there more staff support to this position? Because 15 hours, they're charging $62,000 a year. So there's got to be more to this than just this person's position.
Yeah, and I think there is some flexibility. I can get some more detail from CMRPC in terms of the specifics of how that funding is getting allocated. That may be part of some of the benefits that they were kind of talking about that CMRPC is having. But it could also be that they're creating a buffer for either negotiation of who they eventually hire, or for additional staff to support, in that instance, that if a community finds that they need additional hours, to allow other CMRPC staff to dedicate hours to that as well.
Can you find out? Because
Absolutely.
if that's for one person and we're paying that kind of money,
Mhm.
we could come up with 75,000 and have our own person.
Yep.
And you could use their other time for something else. So there you go. You get extra help.
Yeah. Well, so just to clarify though, so if we were doing the 4 hours, that we would only be dedicating.
Oh, 16, I know, but I'm
16.
looking at,
Yep.
I'm looking at the whole thing. When would
Gotcha.
this start?
So I want to be a little bit, don't
About
want to
when?
seem, I don't want to seem apprehensive of this program. The meeting today, it seems like they're struggling to get enough communities to commit to this to make it sustainable. What they're looking between now and our January meeting is additional outreach to communities. Now that they have the grant funding, they think that they may have additional support for this program. It's a little bit more fleshed out. So I think that'll be something that will have more follow-up in January in terms of if this is going to be a sustainable program. But certainly in the meantime, looking at, and this feedback on the contract documents and the agreement, and just the concept of participating with the regional coordinator is helpful, because I can then provide that feedback. And
Right. So we don't need to sign anything yet.
no, not yet. They're still in somewhat of the early stages of, and they're not looking for a commitment from communities at this point. But once they get someone in place, I think that'll be more. They'll be looking for a commitment at that point.
Okay. Because I mean, unfortunately, we don't have much going on yet. We stop paying them a monthly fee. We're not doing anything yet.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And annualizing that, to 166K. If we take that in, so it's pretty substantial.
Okay.
And
We'll just watch it.
would they be working just with the trust, or would they be working with the housing authority as well?
I think that would be something, certainly staff would be looking for direction from the trust. I think there may be the ability to work with, with the housing authority as well. I would see this mainly as something for the trust to engage with and really, getting direction from the trust. But again, that would be something that I would look to the trust to kind of structure of where, kind of where that responsibility, the advisory committee, who's appointed to that and what structure we want to see from that.
I think if the housing authority wants to use their services, then I think they should pay for part of it. I'm serious. Well, we don't have an infinite pot of money yet. I think it's got to be more clear exactly what they're going to do too.
Yep.
And right now, just as was said earlier, we don't have a lot happening going on. I don't think we will, for the first quarter of the year.
Yeah, and I think that and I certainly agree that, we'll have to map out what services we're looking for specifically from that. But I think that there is also the benefit of the average hours that, if we're not using a lot of hours in the beginning of the year, we can take a lot more from the end.
Yeah.
So,
If CMRPC gets this thing up and running, it could be a really good program because we use them a lot for other stuff. But right now, it seems like they're trying to figure out exactly what they're going to do also.
yeah, it's kind of in the process of being developed, and I think it's in response. They were looking for, really looking for a private consultant to do a lot of this work. They were getting a lot of requests from communities on housing related work and looking for private consultants to fill that, and they found somewhat of a void, and so that's where they're now looking for doing it in-house a little bit. So, but yeah, the details of that certainly need to get ironed out, but more to come.
And I think we'll have a better idea of what we need, after our first meeting. If we select, J.M. Goldson and everything works out, then we know, after the first meeting, how much heavy lifting we're going to have to do.
Absolutely.
All right. So no action needed from us for now on this.
Correct.
Good. And any other questions? Nope. Okay. So we covered the topics on the agenda. Now we're looking for I guess the meeting schedules. I think maybe we could select first 3 months of the year, maybe what works, and if we're going to do it in person, the availability of the rooms as well. Chris, I think you have the schedule there in front of you. I don't know if it's still the third Tuesday or third Wednesday of the month. I think it was. Could be wrong. Or second Tuesday.
Can't be the second.
Nope.
No, second I have selectmen's meetings are second and fourth.
Got it.
Tuesday.
What day works best in the week for everyone?
But Tuesdays for me.
Yeah. I think we were holding them Wednesdays.
Tuesday is a better day for me. I mean, I can do any day, but Wednesday is probably the least best.
For me as well. I can do
Okay.
Thursday, I can do Tuesday.
Thursday?
Thursdays work for me.
12th or 19th?
19th of January.
I think Chris is checking the calendar there for the room. I don't know if he has, if there's anything going on the second or third Tuesday of the month. Thursday, sorry. I want to keep saying Tuesday. Sorry, Maurice. Driving you crazy.
Seeing. So I'm just trying to, for whatever reason, I'm not seeing the select, oh, there it is. Selectmen's room is booked.
What about the conference room, Conference Room A?
Conference room A is available.
Is that on the second or third Thursday of the month?
That is on the 19th, so that would be the third Thursday.
Third. Thursday. So if we can, use that, the third Thursday of the month, like I said, we're and March 16th.
Works for me.
So I believe the 16th doesn't have that. We do have a finance committee meeting presentation for the budget.
But that's not in Conference Room A.
No, no.
We could still meet.
Yep, conference room A is available for that. And then
March 16th.
March 16th, just double checking. Yep.
Great. We'll take them.
All right, I will set those
By March,
dates and I will send
by-
out the Google invite. Yep.
by March, we'll have 2 more meeting rooms because the police station will be open.
Oh, wow.
That's wonderful.
There's 2 meeting rooms in there, right in the front.
Great.
Get to break those in. Good.
Yep.
Great. Any new business?
Mhm.
No new business. Okay, so a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. We need to get roll
Aye.
call on that one too.
Yep.
Maurice,
Yes.
Beth,
Yes. Aye.
Martha,
Yes.
Hector, yes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
See you
Thank
next
you.
year. Have a good
Happy
Christmas.
holidays,
care.
everyone.
Happy holidays.
Have
Bye.
a good holiday. Bye-bye.
Bye.